Well, hello there, my fellow rushers. How are you doing today? King Rex here. And I had some free time and I decided to take one of your challenges. And there were actually a couple of people that have asked me about this challenge, so I decided to try it out. And the challenge is, can you beat Kingdom Rush's post game with just big guns and a little bit of magic? Now, this sounds a bit weird, I know. So let's get into the rules and explain what we're doing. Yeah, the rules. Rule number 1, we're gonna be doing only the post game, the main campaign is not included. Rule number 2, what can we use? Well, it's pretty simple. We can use Big Bertha, 2 Musketeers for each level, which is kinda cool. And sadly we can only use Bolin. Yeah. And this is kind of a addition, which I'm just gonna name it as rule number 3. Basically, for Ancient Necropolis and Castle Blackburn, Castle Blackburn, because they're Spectral Knights and we have no way to damage them, we can trade our Musketeers for mages. We can use both mages, rather sorcerers or, arcanes. But it's gonna be only for these 2 levels. Everywhere else, we can use only the Musketeers. As you saw, I didn't add only veteran difficulty. Yeah, because some levels are quite ridiculous and you'll see why later on. But with that out of the way, let's begin and see if the game can be beaten that way. Alright then, starting off with the first level. First level isn't the hardest thing in the world, as long as you're not trying to beat it NOL, because otherwise this is pretty ridiculous. No, I'm not gonna beat it NOL, obviously, because World Champion already did it, and he did it without the need of Musketeers. So you can go check it out. I think it's somewhere on his channel. He did it a while ago, and it was quite impressive. But we're not perfectionists up in here, we're just trying to beat the game in a plethora of different ways. We're not locked behind NOL. So yeah. And we have to deal with a lot of problematic enemies, as you can see. We have Marauders with medium armor, and then we have the Raiders with great armor. And we have Pillagers that have an incredible amount of health, and they're incredibly hard to stop. And yeah, the previous level was beaten on Veteran, but for this, I unfortunately had to turn down the difficulty to Casual. I tried it on Normal numerous times, but I just wasn't able to pull it off. Like, the pure spam is just way too much, and the Big Bertha just can't keep up, man. When you don't have any stalling power with Big Bertha, it's really hard to make it useful. It's unlike the Tesla. With the Tesla, you don't really need too much stalling power. The Tesla can just work its way around it. But with Big Bertha, you kind of have to group up the guys. And when you don't have anything to stall them with, yeah, it's a pretty tedious task to make it. But Big Bertha is not that bad. It's surprisingly good tower. And now, the next few levels will be beaten on veterans, so let's just talk about Bolin for a moment, and why I hate him. You probably hate him as well, come on. He is a premium hero, and he is pretty much garbage. Yeah. Sure, he has 670 health, which is, I think it's a decent amount. But when you have no armor, no amount of health can save you, unless you have some really good healing moves like Ignis, but obviously he doesn't. His attack speed is by far the slowest in the whole game, in the whole Kingdom Rush franchise, I believe. He shoots once every 3.8 seconds. Now, sure he attacks 3 times, but his damage is not too outstanding. I mean, I think that on the high end, I think he can do like 38 or so. You're gonna get some decent damage, but take for example Oni. Oni, if he gets 4 attacks on the high end, which is 75, he can do way more than that. I don't know, I just find Bolin to be very underwhelming, especially with that slow mobility, which is gonna be very problematic on the really hard levels. Like once we get to Pandemonium or Castle Blackburn, yeah, the slow mobility is gonna be problematic for sure, for shiznit. As far as the abilities are considered, the mines are kind of hit or miss, because the way he throws them is RNG. Sometimes they may hit an enemy, sometimes they may just stay there and do absolutely no damage. It's very sad to see. The only thing that's kind of helping us out for now is the Tarp Bump. It slows down the enemies by a pretty decent amount, I suppose. But other than that, he's just kind of there, just watching what's happening. Thankfully, Big Bertha is a good enough tower. I mean, Big Bertha is a pretty solid one. I mean, come on. You're telling me that Big Bertha is bad? No way. 55 to 110 explosive damage. It doesn't suffer the splash damage, unlike the Tesla. On top of that, it has some pretty decent abilities. The Cluster Bomb can definitely help out if you're dealing with a bunch of low tier enemies. Sure, it's not the best thing against tough enemies, but it's still helpful. And then we also have this one, which is kind of iffy, but still, it's something. The Dragon Launcher though, that's probably my favorite ability. Every 8 seconds it just launches this, and it's awesome. Yeah, Big Bertha is good. Musketeers helping out occasionally, for sure. You know, with the insta-kill, but it's a bit chancy, like 60% chance, even though it's on the high end. Sometimes you may not get the insta-kill, which is problematic, as I said. And now here we are at the first level, well, the second level technically, that's giving us a lot of trouble. I tried this level many times on normal and veteran, and the results were pretty much the same. For the most part, I will get to wave 15 and just die straight after. Like, Big Bertha is just not good enough, man. Maybe, just maybe, if we had a good hero, this level will be done on veteran. Or maybe normal, depending on which hero we're using. But because we have Bolin over there, and we have to rely on RNG sometimes, yeah, we can't really do much, can we? Now, however, for this level we had to turn down the difficulty again down to casual. I know, it sucks, but when you're doing a ridiculous challenge like this, sometimes you have to turn down the difficulty. You gotta hurt your pride a little bit in order to beat some challenges. And yeah, here we are. We get to the boss. Bolin is just gonna stall him out for a bit, while we take care of the Pathfinders, which was surprisingly not too hard on casual. I mean, sure, in the beginning they're still a pain in the butt, but later on they become not that much of a threat. And yeah, the level was completed. Maybe it's doable on normal, but I just don't have the time to do it. Sarga's Lair, however, beaten on veteran first try. Not NOL, but hey, who cares? So yeah, let's talk about a little bit about the Musketeers for now. The Musketeers, honestly, they're probably one of the more underrated towers. Like, they're really good. We're talking about, they have the longest range in the game, first of all, which is a big positive. The insta-kill, even though it's a bit chancy, you know, 60%, they still get the insta-kill for more than half of the time, so it's pretty good. The shrapnel shot, oh my god, this thing helps out a ton. But the thing is that it has a really short range, so positioning the Musketeer in the right spot is a little bit hard. But for the most part, I say that they're awesome. As long as you're not playing on iOS, because on iOS their shrapnel shot is pretty redundant, unlike on Steam or Android. Anyway, we already beat Sargas. Well, that was quick. I thought that this boss was gonna be ridiculously tough, but apparently no. Oh yeah, here we died, unfortunately. Well, that sucked. Yeah, it sucked. Whatever. Yeah, I just misused the Rain of Fire, I think, and that's why I died there. However, after some adjustments here and there, we were able to beat it. It's not the hardest thing in the world, it's surprisingly pretty easy. I mean, yeah, Bolin makes things a lot harder, but it's not like super tough. I mean, look at the boss, just melted. Wow. What a disappointment of a boss. I mean, sure, he is still difficult if you, under the right circumstances, he could be difficult, but nah. Anyway, moving on to Rotten Forest. Now, I don't know if I did this one on veteran or normal. I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure it's normal, I think. And the reason why I'm turning it to normal is pretty simple. Pure spam of tainted treants. And the treants are pretty much the big issue here. Every other enemy is just gonna melt to the Big Bertha, but this guy, nah. And this level is just packed with them. Like, they just come out of the ground, some of them coming really close to the exit, and they give you no money, so yeah. Plus they have like 1200 health and high armor on veteran. On normal I think they only have 1000, but still that's still quite challenging to push through. And when the boss comes in, which is gonna be pretty soon, we're gonna wait for him, and he's gonna come up right about now. Yeah, when the boss comes in, there's just infinite spam, and if you don't kill him, the spam is gonna continue. So we had to use the Rain of Fire multiple times on him. Sure, that was a risky move and we suffered the consequences because we lost like half of our lives, but I feel like it was worth it. Whatever. And yeah, we did it. Now we're going to Pit of Fire. First try on... yeah, as much as I want to say veteran, it was on normal. I just couldn't save enough lives in the early game, man. The early game is really hard on this level. Now, the thing is that it's not the hardest thing in the world, but it could be very difficult if you don't know what you're doing. With Pit of Fire and especially Pandemonium, you have to memorize most of the waves in order to beat it properly. Now, I'm not the best in this game, obviously, yeah, what a surprise. But I'm still trying to do it. You know, this is my first attempt, so it's going well for now, but I don't know. Yeah. Now, I'm not sure what to say. Here we have Cerebrus. Cerebrus, like, look at that. Look at Cerebrus. Ah, come on. He actually ended up leaking. Yeah, even on normal mode we can't take him down with that much track, so for Pandemonium we had to turn down the difficulty to casual. I mean, look at that. This is on casual mode, man. Look at this. Look at how many crazy pop and weave actions we have to do. Holy crap, and this Cerebrus is almost about to leak. Yeah, I know. It's a little bit anticlimactic, but how else will I be able to beat it? That's my excuse. If you can beat it on normal, then congratulations, you're better, but with this hero, nah, just big no. And now here we are at the last area, starting off with Rodwick. Disappointment of a level, honestly. Nothing too hard. I mean, yeah, sure, the were-rats were a bit iffy. You know, one of them ended up leaking, I believe. And yeah, it wasn't too hard in the end. It's pretty much the easiest level in the game, as far as the post-game is considered. And yeah, veteran difficulty and all. Here we go. Here is Ancient Necropolis, and here we have to trade off our Musketeers for some magic, because how the hell are we supposed to kill the Spectral Knights when we don't have anything against them? And yeah, the Arcane Wizards, were they the best choice? Maybe, maybe not. The reason why I'm getting them is because of the teleport, and since we have to defend pretty much at the exit, I feel like the teleport will be a little bit more helpful. And you know, it's doing its job. Sure, we lost a couple of lives due to the Spectral Knights, but you know, when you have barely any damage against them, yeah, that's just what's gonna happen sometimes. And the thing is that, after this challenge, you may be thinking that I started liking Bolin a little bit, because usually when you do a challenge where you do nothing but X, and you use only this hero, you're supposed to learn that he is not that bad, and you should start paying more respect towards him. But honestly, this challenge did the exact opposite. I started hating Bolin even more, like, holy crap. Like, the amount of times I had to restart because of his slow mobility, or because he just doesn't want to move. Like, for some reason when he shoots, after he shoots his third shot, he gets locked. Like, you can't move him. You may try to move him, but he's not gonna move. And that's really problematic, especially for this level with the Black Axe. Like, I know it's on 8 times speed, so you're probably not gonna be able to notice it as much, but holy crap, sometimes, like, he just stays there and he lets himself get shot in the face. And that's very, very bad. Speaking of very bad, we have werewolves and lycans. Fast-moving enemies. With a lot of health. Crap. Yeah, this level was... honestly, it wasn't that hard as you think. Sure, we lost, I think here, yep, we're gonna lose. But this was my first attempt, so... anyway, on the second attempt I was able to get it. Sure, we still lost a lot of lives, but whatever. We still beat the level second try, which was not too bad. I don't know, man, like, Bolin could have been so much better, but unfortunately he just isn't. Now, the main issue is here definitely the lycans. The reason why the lycans are bad is because they have like 1200 health, I believe, on veteran. Sorry. So yeah, 1200 health, they do pretty high damage. But, you know, they're not all that many until the last wave. And then when you combine them with the Black Axe, yeah, it's a recipe for disaster. Now, funnily enough, on this level, which is the last level, on veteran again, mind you, we lost... the first few lives were lost exactly to Black Axe. Like, one of them, I don't know what happened, like, there was a missile launcher that hit her, but then she exited. I don't know, like, there was an explosion, but she also ended up dying, but also losing her lives. What? Like, I don't know what happened. Anyway, we have to sell and rebuy the sorcerer because Blackburn has high armor, and we have to take care of him somehow. So yeah, we have to resell and rebuy him. We're gonna use the Rain of Fire. I don't care about everyone else. We have to focus on Blackburn. Can we kill him? Come on, Bolin. And we take him down. So, in the end, the question must be answered. Can you beat Kingdom Rush's post game? with just big guns and a little bit of magic? Well, my dear viewers, the answer is yes. Yes, you can. Sure, you may not be able to do everything on Veteran, but you can still beat the game that way, which is pretty nice. Now, I don't recommend you doing it by any means because, yeah, on some of these levels you can lose your mind, especially this one and of course Pandemonium. Try out these two on Veteran with those restrictions and you see what I'm talking about. And yeah, I just hate Bolin even more. I thought that by the end of this challenge I will be able to like him, but sadly I just wanna punch his face, so yeah. Thankfully we were able to finish the game, at least. And yeah guys, well, that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you everybody so much for watching, I appreciate you for sticking around to the end. Subscribe if you want to see more of this content in the future, and while you're at it, drop a like on the video. It means a lot to me. And I will see you in the next video. Until it comes, that was King Rexy, over and out.